Like, I think if I never talked about it with you, I probably would have left because it would have been built up because, it went on for a minute. So if I would have had all that built up, and I would have hated to take it out on you because it wasn't you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tell Me What's Good. And tonight I have my one and only girlfriend, Krystion Chanel Oliver.
Why are you giving these people my government name like that?
Because I do this. So today, what we're going to be talking about today is we had a question. And it said, what are the sacrifices that you have to make to have a great relationship? So with that being said, I would love for you to start off and give your opinion on that statement.
Okay. Sacrifice. I feel like sacrifice is such a strong word. I would more so say compromises. I mean, I feel like you do have to make sacrifices, but I think like those come more so in marriage. And I think it's more of compromising when you're like dating and stuff, because then you'll really be able to see if you can handle it during the marriage. So, like, for example, a compromise, let's see, like a habit you have, and are you willing to change that habit or get rid of it based on if your partner can like deal with it? Because say if your habit is a pet peeve of your partner's, are you able to change it, like alter it a little bit, or get rid of that habit altogether? Like, are you willing to compromise and think of someone other than yourself? So being more selfless, because I would say that's definitely something to be when you're in a relationship, because it's really not about you anymore. It's about the other person and you. Like, yes, always consider yourself, but you really have to consider the other person's feelings when you're making any kind of decision or doing any kind of action, really. So I feel like, yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, so I'm asking another question because, like I said, I have my own take, but I just want to kind of pry it out of you just a little bit more. So, do you think that those compromises that you are saying could be avoided in a relationship beforehand, like through the talking stage, to where it's not compromising during the dating stage of your relationship?
Do I feel they can be changed during the talking stage? Like,
Avoid
talk
it.
about them
Avoid
first.
it. Like, so you can avoid it in your
Hmm.
relationship by understanding and talking about it in the talking stage of the process.
So before even dating,
Right.
seeing if that's something you're willing to do.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I really feel the talking stage is for, to see if you can even handle that person dating them. Even though sometimes people hide themselves, their true colors for a minute to get you. Uh, but I do think that's something you can kind of wiggle out in that talking stage. But sometimes even then, like when I said some people don't portray their true colors until a little bit after. Sometimes telling people what to do and what not to do kind of gives them that cheat code if if they don't have the good intentions. So like if there's somebody who just wants to have sex with you and you're telling them what you're looking for and stuff for a relationship, and they do just enough just to have sex with you, and then they out and you hurt, and it's like, dang. But You gave them that. But if you have somebody with good intentions, it'll work out. But sometimes, love is trial and error, unfortunately.
And so do you think that I hid any true colors on myself to begin with or what have you?
Yeah. Did you hide anything? Not really. I feel like you were more open than a lot of people I've talked to. So I would say you're very open. Now, the little stuff that I found out along the way, obviously you won't find it out until you date somebody. Like, I didn't know you steal the covers like you like to when you sleep.
Oh,
Like that should be a crime how much
yeah,
covers you steal. Like,
yeah.
my lord, I be freezing. Here you be all snuggled up with all the covers because you done rolled in it like a little roly poly or something. And if I knew that, I'm kidding, I wouldn't. But like little quirks, that you learn about your partner the further you get along, it's just, you find out if you really want to be with them. So yeah.
I guess I'm gonna let you slide with that one for sure. Talking about some stealing covers because
It
this
ain't nothing
this
to slide about.
this ain't about that. But nah, like I said, before I go off into what I think, because I feel like on this episode for sure is gonna be maybe back and forth banter, not bad banter, but just back and forth conversation between me and Krystion. But like I said, me and Krystion are going on 2 years in November. You know what I mean? So we started talking of October of 2019. We went on dates, maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
I'm like that some days because you was feeling for me.
Here you go.
You was feeling for me.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, we went on dates 2 to 3 times a week, and just to truly get to know each other. Like I say, back to what you were saying about the talking stage. We truly, our first date, we went to game time. We had a good time at game time. Went to go get ice cream on beachside, and we sat by the water or stood by the water for literally a couple hours just talking. And I say that to get to my point of I feel like a lot of sacrifices that you may have to make to have a great relationship definitely can be avoided because you figure out everything that you need to within your person within that talking stage. So therefore, if it is things that you do that this person does not like and they voice that to you, if you're willing to change that and make it work for them, then it's not a sacrifice because you are willing to change that habit of yours that that person doesn't like. Now, if you're not willing to change it and then y'all get into a relationship and then now your partner is voicing his or her concern over and over again because of something that you're doing that they don't like, and then now it becomes a sacrifice, because it's like, hey, look, I'm not happy. We keep arguing about this same thing that I don't like, and I told you that I don't like, and you don't want to change it. So therefore, then it becomes a sacrifice. Like I said, I do think sacrifices do have to be made, but it's not in a form of sacrifices. Like you said, it's definitely a strong word, but it's just sometimes like let's say you may not want to do something. You know what I mean? Your partner needs you and they might be sick or they just might be tired and you're tired, but they may ask you to go and do something for them. Hey, you might have to sacrifice your tiredness or your sleep to go do that. Or it's little things. I don't think huge sacrifices is necessary to be had in order to have a great relationship because I don't think you should have to sacrifice or compromise your character or anything in order to have a great relationship. That's something that's built between the groundwork and the foundation that you two lay. You know what I mean? So would you
Mhm.
say the foundation that we built to begin with was like a big segment to where we are today within our relationship?
I would say it helped a lot because we seen each other. Like you said, we had dates like 2 or 3 times out the week, and we spent so much time together and getting to know each other. And like we still didn't even kiss each other until after we started dating. So it was like it was nothing physical. It was straight getting to know each other. We didn't talk sexual to each other. Like it was just straight conversations. What do you like? How's your family? Like just getting to truly know who you are and the type of person you are, and seeing if we could kind of mesh in a way. So I would definitely say it helped. I think that's why I would say we caught feelings so strong earlier than you would expect because we spent so much time together. So it was kind of like we already knew. So, when you have people who don't spend too much time together, it's hard to feel a type of way if you only see a person maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. But we see each other every week, text every day, did not miss a day. It's kind of spooky actually. We haven't missed a day. Since like the first day we started texting, we have not missed a day texting each other. Very spooky. In honor of spooky season.
There you go.
Very spooky. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then it's just effort too, I think comes into play because both of us put in the same effort. It wasn't one-sided, which I think is what made it worthwhile too, because we both put in the same energy. Nobody felt like they were putting out too much or giving too much too soon. And I think it was probably really the reciprocity for us. Like, ooh, he doing this. Let me do this. I can do that. We can do
Yeah,
this. Like
like I can speak on that because this girl here is something special, y'all. Something serious too. So this is like
that.
November, before she's about to get ready to go home that next month. Like I said, this was my last semester, her second to last semester. And like I said, we started dating in November 23rd, day of classic, to be exact. Yeah, I know. I'm like that. Um, we were going to exchange gifts for Christmas. And this girl told me, one of the gifts I gave you, and we're not good with withholding gifts from each other. We're not
We're
good.
not. That's actually the worst.
So we have to
Really.
tell the person or give them a million hints till they figure it out. So we're not good at that. But she was like, one of the gifts she gave me, I have to take care of it and I have to wear it. This girl bought me jewelry. Mind you, we ain't been officially dating for none but what? A week and some change.
Yeah.
And she bought me a bracelet
It
with,
sounds so bad when you say it like
yeah,
that.
it was, but we were just that caught up in feelings for each other. And sadly say I lost the bracelet. I lost it like literally a couple of months ago. Not a couple months, about a month ago. I lost it.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I can get into how I lost it, but I lost it.
mm,
And
mm.
yeah, it was just like you said. When she told me that, I was like, dang, I got to get her jewelry. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. Granted, I have to know, but that's how I felt. So we kind of took that into the relationship. So it's like as much as she spoils me, I want to spoil her just as much. As much as she does for me, I want to do just as much for her. You know what I mean? Oh, what's wrong? You made a face. I don't like the face that you made. Mm,
I'm listening.
you listening.
I'm listening.
She got something to say, but we going
I don't. My nose actually itches a little bit. And that's
I'm
what's
sorry.
happening.
I'm sorry. You want me to scratch it for you?
See how you all in my Kool-Aid don't know the
I'm
flavor. You see
sorry.
that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I
You
apologize.
want me,
But
want me to do this? You want me to do that? Huh? All of that? I don't want to do that. It actually hurts. Okay. All right.
but yeah, no, it was definitely, that sense of just trying to one up each other in a sense of love, in the name of love is simply what it was. It was just we both had experiences before each other. We both had, obviously past relationships before each other. And we both had to come to a realization. Like that's why I don't think it's sacrifices. It's more so realization because we realized what were the downfalls in our past relationships, our past situations, and we knew what we did not want for the next person, and more importantly, what we wanted to change within ourselves. So we kind of found each other in we both were in a growing stage. We're in a growing process of actually maturing more, me more than her, but we was in a stage of like, no, I had to mature a lot more. I was very immature. So
Yeah.
you were,
Me, on the other hand, I had it together. I can't speak for you. I had it together. I don't know what you had going on,
whatever. So
but
either anyway, like I said, so with that being said, you know, we did a lot for each other. We put a lot of effort in. And like I said, I think this question as far as sacrifices is strong. So I'm trying to get away from that to kind of give more of an insight to everyone about necessarily not making sacrifice to have a great relationship, but different things to do in order to have a great relationship. So I would say definitely, could you speak on the effort that I may have put into you or put in throughout the process for our relationship?
Mm. So effort. I mean, for the first time, you really like approach me. Well, I wouldn't say approach. DM me. That's what the kids do these days. Jump in the DMs. Um, you kind of made it known, you know, what you wanted and your intentions. So you've really done everything that you said you would. I would say also your actions matching your words is effort to me because, you know, when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And just always being there for me, like my being that my major was music education and I had internships and all that extra stuff, you understood when I had to be like, I had to be a grown up and get my work done and just be there if I wanted to talk your ear off. Like if I had like a bad day, I'm like, do you know what happened today? And you'd be like, what? And I'd be like, well, all the stuff. So, I mean, just you wanting to also be there for me and I was gonna say something. It's gonna be good too. Just you. I would also say for me the patience with me because I am really shy, and so at first, you know, you had to run your mouth a lot for me to talk because I wasn't talking. So in those beginning stages, it probably seemed like you ran your mouth, but you did. So I didn't talk for real. So you kind of had to. But just being patient with me and willing to understand my shyness because sometimes people can mistake my shyness or that I am rude because I don't want to speak. But it's not like that. I'm just like, I don't really do the people thing. It's not my forte, you
Mm.
know?
So
So,
I guess I can kind of speak on that because this one here is definitely very shy, and when she don't know you, she's a very awkward person. You know what I mean? So she's gonna have her little awkward posture and how she speaks.
posture, what are you saying? Like I got a hunchback or something?
Like, nah, it's like you have your hands in your pockets, you know what I mean? Like you don't take them out or stuff like that. It's the little things like that, you know what I mean? So, you know, when you are very shy, you don't know a person or new around a situation, you kind of get like that to where you're in the shell. And so I think for me, in order to get the most out of our relationship, to get the best out of the cut out of you, it was definitely understanding your shyness. And then it was, you know, I guess we can say sacrifices in the terms of the question because we will have to. I made it a thing to where we stay up late at night with music
Ooh,
playing and just
and I
have
wanted to go to bed.
right, just having conversations. Like we literally would stay up, you know, until like 2 or 3 in the morning, regardless of if I had to go to work the next morning. You know what I mean? I think this is before she started going to her where she had to drive out of Daytona for her internship. So whether I had to go and work in the morning, you know what I mean? We would stay up, you know, for hours and talk. We would alternate questions, and based on whatever the conversation goes from there, wherever the conversation goes from there, it'll go from there. And then the next person will ask a question, and we'll do that for a couple hours. Why? Just so that she can be more open and willing to talk to me. Now, this girl here can, baby, let me tell you what happened today. Ooh, baby, let
Yeah.
me tell you what such and such. Like it's
Or I'll ask him, you know, if you were a chicken wing, what flavor would you be?
yeah, and I tell her, baby, I don't
And
know
then he would look at me goofy and not answer the question.
because like I don't.
Like,
She's
it's a
very
simple
random.
question.
Nah, she's very random, and so I get those kind of things a lot. But yeah, like I said, it was just definitely the approach. You know what I mean? It's more so us looking at what was in front of us and looking at the goals. I think a big thing for us in this relationship was the fact that I know for me personally was how much she motivated me, how much she pushed me. You know what I mean? So it was different things I did to push her to get her out of her comfort zone because I'm more of the people person of the relationship. I'm the talkative one and I get along with everybody. She is not that person. She's the one that's gonna sit back, observe, don't say nothing. And we kind of rub off on each other because now you can see, fast forward 2 years later from when we first started talking, she's more so open to talking to people or more so of a nicer person. Not to say that she's mean, but just more
I am not
of an
PSA, PSA. I
angel.
am not mean.
She's not.
I
She's
just don't I
she's
can't mesh quickly with people.
very
It
shy.
doesn't do it for me.
Like I said, no, we
It
to
takes me a
this
moment.
to this day, we're still definitely working on that. And it's just something that's embedded in her right about now is just how shy she is. So to this day, we are definitely working on the shyness, but it's a process. It's a marathon, it's
Mm,
not a sprint.
mm, mm, mm.
So
I
it's
have a
definitely,
question.
I think our understanding. And speaking of communication, talk about the
I have a
communication.
question.
What's up?
Before I talk about communication, I have a question.
What's up?
I'm sorry, it's teaching me on my own. So you said something that you liked was me pushing and motivate you. So how would you say that I motivated you?
It's
Like
more,
how?
you motivated me because, like I said, I seen what you were doing. You know what I mean? And the path to your career was like it was. As I ain't gonna say it was never. It was straightforward. It had its twists and turns here and there, but you had more of a clear shot and a clear path to exactly what you wanted to do. Me coming out of college, I really had no sense of exact direction. You know what I mean? I kind of had I knew what I want to do. You know what I mean? To this day, I still know what I want to do, but it was just the fact of trying to get there. You know what I mean? So coming out of school, I was doing freelance work. And then in the midst of all the freelance work, you was there supporting me. You know what I mean? Even though it wasn't nothing like big payouts, $50 to do this or $50 to do that, no, that kind of thing. So it wasn't like it was nothing crazy. But then the pandemic happened. You know what I mean? And that took everything away, everything sports related away from me. So it's like now I don't know what I'm going to do in order to try to get into my field, because there's nothing to cover, nothing to do. There's nothing on. You know what I mean? And that was around the time we was watching a lot of sermons, on a daily day basis. We had all day basically. It was a pandemic. So we would watch 2 to 3 sermons a day if we could, you know what I mean? So in the midst of watching those sermons, I got the idea popped in my head based off what we heard from a sermon was to get into grad school. And the first thing she said, I say you do it. That's her biggest thing. So it was just in the moment of instance of knowing that I can do something that can better me and give me a better chance to get to where I want to get and just kind of level the playing field for me more. Those are the kind of things that you did to help motivate me because I knew when you left to go back home after, the pandemic happened and then you got into where you got your job, you know what I mean? And I'm in school at this point. So you got your job, you're doing everything over summer and I'm in school. So now it's like, all right, well, I'm trying to get there because obviously we won't be together until I get in my career. You know what I mean? So it's where both financials is very much stable. So that's another thing that motivates us and motivates me most importantly. And even in the moment of doing that, it's like, well, baby, I don't want you to rush into anything to think that we just have to get, moved in right now or moved in by this day. I want to make sure you do everything that's the right thing for you or make the right decisions for you. You know what I mean? So it's not you not pushing me to make decisions that's going to just benefit you first and foremost. You take what I need and what I feel into consideration, and then that's how we go about it. So that's how you motivate me. Because in the day, you're that person that I know if I don't talk to nobody else, I can talk to you. If I'm pissed off, I don't go to nobody else. You're the first person I go to. I vent to you.
I hear all the cuss words.
I vent to
Such a
you.
potty mouth when you get upset.
And it's something that I'm working on. You motivated me to work on that. Have I not gotten better with that?
You have gotten better. Let me tell you something. This man here to cuss like a sailor. It feels like every other word he used to curse. You know, wasn't it wasn't cute to me. I don't really cuss a lot. So, for me, I was like, do you have to cuss? And it's not like I was intentionally trying to change you. I'm just like, I don't talk like that. Like that's so harsh for me to just cuss all the time. So, yes, I would say like, like maybe tone it down just a little bit.
I
And
guess.
eventually you worked on it. So hey,
And no, it's all
snap for you.
it's all understanding. You know what I mean? We both have right now in our relationship at the moment, we definitely have a great understanding of each other. Like it's scary at times. Like to point
Oh,
out
you spooky.
earlier this week, I'm falling asleep on the phone and I'm trying to play it off like I'm not. And I was like, I'm not asleep. She's like, baby, I know your breathing pattern. Like when you I know when you get ready to
Man,
go to
it's so
sleep.
weird.
So it's like
Like I can tell.
it's those little things that's like important that makes me realize, you know what? Well, I really love this girl because my phone is not by me, but she can kind of sense or not sense, but hear the way I'm breathing. So it's like, yeah, this man going to sleep because you don't breathe like that. And I'm not snoring. I'm not doing none of that.
It's when you start to breathe heavy, I can tell. I'm like, this Negro is
Yeah.
falling asleep on me.
It's those little things that, we understand about each other. It's always oh, you think you know me, huh? You know what I mean? So like I said, it's a lot of work that has to be put in. It's not easy. It wasn't easy. We had our trials, we had our tribulations, to the point where it was a lot going on, and she was this close to leaving me. You know what I mean?
All right. So
I
first, you need to say
it,
that the
it's
trials weren't between us. It
it
was
wasn't. But
outside.
it's
So
outside, but it's nothing to really get into. It was what it was.
it's not.
It happened. It's
We
life.
actually haven't had an argument
Yeah,
at all.
going on 2 years.
So,
It's
that's
communication. Back
it.
to what the question I was asking, like, how is the
Yeah.
communication?
I think our communication is very, very good. Like I think especially for our age, you wouldn't think that we communicate as well as we do. But I think we set that foundation at the beginning when we were going through all that stuff. Like we immediately jumped on it instead of kind of burying everything. We talked about whatever happened as soon as it happened or after it happened to kind of get it off our chest. Like I think if I never talked about it with you, I probably would have left because it would have been built up because it went on for a minute. So if I would have had all that built up, I would have hated to take it out on you because it wasn't you. So I would say we set that foundation in the beginning, just talking about everything. And even on our first date, when, we talked on the beach for like hours, I think that just started off great right there because we just sat there and talked. So I would say communication is the key, but also understanding and comprehending what you talk about. So I feel like we can always talk to each other about any and everything, but also try to not uh, take our emotions out onto each other. Like if we are angry and trying to talk, trying not to, cuss at each other or raise our voice at each other. Like if either of us raises our voice at each other, we're like, why you yelling at me? Why you hollering at me? I ain't doing nothing. And y'all be like, okay, my fault. I'm gonna knock it out. So I think just being open and talking about everything because I think talking about everything leads into understanding and comprehending because then you know how your partner is, you know those triggers, you know how to calm them down, you know if they need space, give them space. Because I think that's something too, you know, you always talk about like when we are upset, don't not talk. And that has been very, very hard for me. But I'm working on it. Cause like when I get upset, I don't like to talk. I like to shut up and sulk. Not
And
sulk, but
it's vice
just
versa. It's vice versa.
so Yeah.
Like I said, we're both similar in a lot of ways and very indifferent in a lot of ways. Like I say, we both realize those different things about each other. And like I said, we haven't personally gotten no arguments, disagreements. We really talk about everything else from a distance. So we see stuff on social media, that'll be our conversations. Or if we get mad at something else, dealing with something else, is more so that's why we tell each other, yeah, let's talk. For me, like, no shut out on me. Like, what's bothering you? Said in the day, I don't want you to be upset that you take something out on me that I just call a straight bullet for no reason. You know what I mean? So, talk about it. Like that's it's communication is 100%. I don't want to get on here and make it seem like we got it all figured out because we don't. Like I said, we're both young. 24, she's 23. And on the topic of having a great relationship, you have to have a great support system, a great foundation. We get advice from people older than us all the time, like it never fails. Whenever I go on vacation, going to her Uncle Frank's house, we're there for hours and they're talking to us about different things and different relationship things or what they have went through. You know what I mean? So in comparison to maybe whatever we're talking about in that moment, my auntie Kathy, she's very blunt. You know what I mean? So whatever conversation or situation we put on her plate, she's gonna let us know what it is and what it ain't. You know what I mean? We've been doing that for months now since April. With conversations with her. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not just us that is why we feel like we have such a great relationship at the moment, but it's the fact that we're open and willing to take that criticism from other people. Because last week, your Uncle Frank's wife, we had a tough conversation, and I'm always willing to hear the tough things, but she was very animated in what she was talking about. But that's me taking everything in and listening and like not getting mad and trying to like, look, I don't like how you get like, no, it's really just listening because in the day they've been there, done that. We are trying to get to that point that they're at. So it's really taking heed to that advice. Same thing with auntie. Auntie gonna get on me right or wrong. You know what I mean? So it's like I can be right in a situation, but did one thing wrong. She's gonna let me know about it, in order to, correct and fix. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to be willing to talk to different people and people that's not gonna tell you that you're right all the time. You want to go to those people that it's not gonna pick sides. If Krystion is wrong, somebody in my circle is gonna, say she's wrong, and somebody in my circle gonna say that I'm wrong. Like it's that simple. You know what I mean? I can go to her mother and confide in her mother. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
They be
that's my girl.
kikiing too much for
That's my
me.
girl. You know what I mean?
Too much.
So it's like
Whatever.
it's just you want to be able to go to people that's gonna set you straight when you're not straight. And that's a big thing for us. You know what I mean? So you got anything more to add to that communication part?
I mean, I also feel like our spiritual journeys also play a part in it too. Because, I mean, I don't really know where you were when we first started talking, on your spirit level. I know mine may have been a little higher. I'm not going to assume. I'm just going to throw that out there. It might have been a little bit higher.
It was. So we gonna call a spade a spade. It was.
But I think with us working on it together, like, keeping God first and watching sermons and praying together and even talking about, some spiritual stuff helped us too. Because, just throw a little Bible on there, when you seek God first, everything else falls into place. So I really feel that that played a huge part too, because everything is so easy. And I think that's what true love is. Should always be easy. Nothing should ever be hard and feel like an uphill battle. Like, who wants to sit here and go through a whole bunch of stuff just to love somebody? You shouldn't have to do that. It should be easy. It should flow naturally and just be happy. Like, I don't feel like we've had a honeymoon stage. I feel like everything has just been happy.
Right.
So
It's been just
yeah.
vibes. It's scary that, you know, it's once you know, you know. You know what I mean? We gonna put it here first and foremost. We're both ready for the next step. We just, got our hurdles to get over and to get into that next step. You know what I mean? So it's I feel like this is definitely God sent. And with our relationships. Once you know, like everything's. I feel like once you find your person that's exactly for you, your soulmate, everything is so easy because everything has been so easy for us. You know what I mean? It's whatever hurdle that we've been through together, we cleared it just that quick because it hasn't been, any pushback from each other of trying to get over whatever hurdle it was. It was like, okay, well, if it's something that I'm dealing with, that's affecting her, all right, well, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? If it's something that she's doing that's affecting me, all right, let's talk about it. It's just really been like, all right, let's put this behind us so we can continue to move forward. So it's a lot of work that goes to, into putting on a great one. Also, I want to say lastly, because we can go on all day. We can,
Part two,
but
part two.
sooner or later. Um, I feel like, do you think the openness that we had from the get-go led to a high trust level for us right about now, to where we are just every day is just a I ain't got nothing to worry about type thing?
Yeah, I mean, I told you that the other day. Like, I feel like our communication is so open and we tell each other everything that I have no reason to not trust you because you already shown me that I can. So it's like until you give me a reason not to, all I can do is trust you. I mean, we're 18 hours away. I don't think I really have a choice but to
Right.
trust you. So plus it doesn't help stressing out all day, every day over what you may or may not be doing because I feel like if something's not right, I'm gonna find out. I mean, everything you do in the dark always comes to light. So it is what it is. Like even us sharing our location, it's funny to me because I'm like, I don't know what we can do
About it.
to somebody's special, but it's the thought that counts is cute. Oh yeah, I'm like,
It's crazy that
but
we
yeah,
don't even check it. That's the crazy part. Like it's there, but
don't. I'll be like, where you at? Like a dummy when I can just check to see where you were. Like sad, but yeah, I would. Yeah.
if we can continue to help people around our age, to get to that next step or heal to that next step, why not? Like I said, we're not perfect. Trust me, we're not. Yeah, we haven't had an argument or disagreement yet, but we have our moments where we don't speak to each other. You know what I mean? So it's like it happens. It's just all of how you handle the situation. So definitely, I hope everybody that may have seen this can take a lot from it and assess it to their life, and maybe even take something that you heard from it and say you just didn't like it and do something different. It is what it is. What works for us don't work for everybody else. You got to figure out what works for you. So with that being said, peace and blessings to my brother. You know what I mean? Until next time, maybe a part two of this. But once again, I'm Willie Love, and this is my beautiful girlfriend, Krystion. We out.
Yeah. Peace out, Girl Scout.